Tonight's Team U, Simon.
Thanks, Matt. Just a confirmation that Brian Talbot has made two changes from the side that won at York on Saturday. They're both tactical, we think. They're both in midfield. Gary Mills and Brian's son, Daniel Talbot, drop out of the starting 11. In come Sean Carey, formerly of Norwich, and Stuart Gray, formerly of Reading. He'll play on the left-hand side of midfield. There is then the Rushden and Diamonds lineup. One other thing of interest is that Jim Rodwell, the tall centre-back, is actually born in Lincoln. I think all his family were Lincoln fans as well, so he'll want to do well tonight. Last season's top scorer, Dwayne Darby, with 24 in the conference. He's on the bench. He suffered an injury during pre-season against Bishop Stortford. As for Lincoln City, well, they're unchanged. Lee Thorpe had a slight worry over a knee injury, but he's been past fit to play. He's okay. And in goal, Alan Marriott, and in defence, Steve Holmes, both retain their places despite howlers over the weekend against Halifax that cost Lincoln the points. Adam Buckley, incidentally, son of Alan, is on the substitutes bench.
Thank you very much, Simon. So a son each on the bench at least. Be nice if they both get on at some stage this evening. Quick word on the teams then. Interesting that Brian Talbot would change a winning side.
Yeah, I think he's playing the midfield that I saw play against Arsenal, and whether he feels that that gives them a little bit more forward momentum at home. Certainly the four midfield lads that he's got there pass and play very well together. You know, that's the way football is at the moment. If you win on a Saturday, there's no guarantee that the side's going to be kept the same. Squad rotation at Rushden Diamonds. Be interesting to see.
In a modern world. As for Lincoln, conversely, John, they lost on Saturday a couple of howlers, and yet no changes from Alan Buckley.
Well, you mentioned a couple of howlers, but by all accounts, apart from those two howlers, they played ever so well.
Right.
Apparently, the first 30 minutes, they played Halifax off the pitch, and Alan Buckley was pleased with his team's performance. It's just individual errors they've got to cut out, and if they do that, then they've got a chance here tonight.
A couple of minutes with scouting reports on tonight's two teams, and of course the match itself. It's live and exclusive, it's on the ITV Sport channel, and it's coming up shortly. Those fans are desperate for it to get underway. Max Griggs taking the applause of the Rushden fans on this, of course, their home debut in the Football League, the man responsible for putting them, financially at least, in a position where they can play league football. And those Rushden fans very pleased to see their benefactor taking his little lap of honour before we get on with. Let's get a word from our commentary team. It's a lovely ground, this, but as you can see, it's not all glamour. A little green box on top of the stand is where you will find David Pleat and Guy Haverwood. Are you enjoying the view, boys?
It's a wonderful view. We can see right across the over the top of the stand and to lots of green fields. In fact, one of the talking points of Max Griggs and Brian Talbot is that there aren't enough chimney pots around here, i.e. perhaps a catchment area that they can pull on in years to come. We heard the two men that have been instrumental in getting them into the Football League in the last half hour. But let me tell you, they've been here for several hours, just sitting by the side of the pitch, talking to people, taking it all in. And you get a feeling, David Pleat, that this is sort of the end of one journey and the beginning of another. They've been fairly low-key about what they can achieve, but what do you think they can do this year?
Well, they're quietly ambitious. They certainly haven't overplayed the hand, but they've got such a good organisation. They've got finance that they can fall back on. They've got super facilities. The players are going to relish the opportunity to play in the league. There's going to be a little bit of euphoria early in the season. So I think, quite frankly, that they are definitely capable of getting in the top six. The bonus would be the top four. And if they should get into pole position, well, you know, eureka. I mean, it's a fantastic setup, and I know tonight there's many scouts here watching, and they're going to be pleasantly surprised, I think, by the quality of the football they see.
Let's have a look at the two teams, starting with the new boys, of course. They're not all Football League novices. Indeed, number 5, Mark Peters, played over 100 times for Mansfield. And number 18, Stuart Gray, was at Reading, as well as collecting a Scottish Cup winners' medal with Celtic. But generally, there are a lot of green diamonds out there tonight. Strikers Warren Patmore and Justin Jackson were among the sharpest in the conference, but how will they fare at this level? Two changes from Saturday, with Gray now fit, and number 14, Sean Carey, selected ahead of Gary Mills.
I think combination of strikers is also important at any level. Jackson and Patmore look a combination that are capable of getting 20 maybe each. If they do that, that'll be a terrific base for Rushden to build on. Jackson is particularly quick, very sharp, scored a lot of goals in the last 2 or 3 seasons. And of course, Patmore is a wily old bird now, very experienced player. And physically, they'll have no problems at this level. And I think that if they work well together, you'll see tonight that there are signs of good things to come.
Lincoln manager Alan Buckley has stood by his young goalkeeper Alan Marriott despite an opening day howler in the Halifax defeat. Indeed, it's the same starting 11, including a very experienced defence. Barnett, Bimson and Holmes have played together since 1996, and number 7 Kingsley Black has played more Football League matches than the entire Rushden team tonight.
Well, Alan Buckley's philosophy has never changed, it never will change. He likes to play it on the deck, he likes to play crisp passing, early passing, he does a lot of 3-touch and 2-touch in training. But look tonight for the wile and craft of Kingsley Black, the left footer playing on the wide right, very experienced, lovely boy. I had him at Luton as a kid. And on the left hand side, Peter Gain, who also came from Tottenham. I gave him to Lincoln, or allowed Lincoln to take him to develop his career. Lovely manoeuvre of the ball, not electric pace, but he can make the play from the left. So watch out for the craft in the wide positions for Lincoln.
Well, it goes without saying that this is the first ever competitive match between the two sides. Lincoln did slide into the non-league and the conference in the late 80s, but that was before Rushden Town and Earthling Borough Diamonds merged. And tonight, 9 years on, the dream has come to Nene Park.
Well, it's a cracking atmosphere, as you can tell. The team's out onto this lovely-looking pitch. It's a lovely August evening. It's Rushden Diamonds' home debut. It's coming up live and exclusive in a couple of minutes. And I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to it. Well, Rushden Diamonds have waited 9 years for this moment. The moment is now upon them. It's time for kick-off. Let's join our commentary team for Rushden Diamonds against Lincoln City, David Pleat and Guy Havord.
And it is Rushden and Diamonds who will get us underway. Looking from left to right and hoping that this is the beginning of another journey with a lot of success attached to it. They've been used to winning matches in the conference in recent years, 4th, 2nd and 1st. And of course got off to that wonderful start on Saturday at York. But before their home supporters, they'll want to put on a show this evening against Lincoln, who've given away an early free kick. Holmes was the offender. And they're going to take it quickly, Rushden and Diamonds. And it's towards Patmore, but it's too quickly for the referee's liking. Yeah, he's back to the play when it was taken, but there we see Patmore and what he's all about, back post. Rodwell has got up from the back for Rushden. Brady on the penalty spot. Oh, it's just gone behind. It was Mark Peters who came up on the blind side.
Well, they gave the version of that free kick when they tried to take the early one, and that had Alan Marriott scrambling. Started to come, he hesitated. It was a good ball, a little bit of pace.
Mark Peters, who started his career at Manchester City. We've got good odds on him scoring the first goal tonight. Bimson will take the free kick for Lincoln. Oh dear. Well, had all summer to rehearse that one. And Bimson wins it back initially towards Thorpe. Easily picked off by Butterworth. Handball appeals against Jackson. A word on our referee this evening. We've got a Premiership ref tonight and one of the Elite 24. Matt Messias from Yorkshire, having a rare run down in the Football League. Here's Peter Gain. Bimson trying to slide it up to Tony Battersby. Rushden starting with two prolific strikers up front in Justin Jackson and Warren Patmore, but in fact the leading scorer in the conference last season was Dwayne Darby, and he's on the bench. A lot of quality on that Rushden bench tonight. Here's Carey, who played just a handful of minutes on that opening game at York on Saturday, but starts this evening. Gain for Lincoln. As David Pleat was saying, spent a couple of years at Tottenham, no doubt about his quality. And there's Brian Talbot. I wonder if even he thought tonight would happen at the turn of the year when one or two supporters here were calling for his head. They were 6 points behind Yeovil, who also had a couple of games in hand, but it was Yeovil who faded. Finnegan. Battersby. No real width at the moment, but Barnett becomes an option. Thorpe. Battersby's in the centre. Thorpe will be happy to get a throw in from that position.
Nice patient build-up there by Lincoln, working the ball left to right.
This is Sedgemore. He's got three in the centre. It's towards Battersby, who had enough space to bring the ball under control. Try and bring the ball under control anyway. Gain. That looked a late challenge, indeed it was.
Gaines holding a very wide position. Bimson's played him a couple of balls, very tight to the line.
John Brady, an Australian who's played in a few countries, but has now become a regular here at Rushden Diamonds. To take the free kick. And it was aimed towards Holmes. And a comfortable take for Billy Turley, who's under real competition this year after the summer signing of Tony Pennock. It's a quick ball forward looking for Jackson, over his head though. There's
a lovely quality, the free kick in, that they did well, Rushden, to get away, but at the same time I wondered what Peter Gain was doing running over that ball when Bimson played it in. He did not need the decoy.
Goes Brady. Bimson's unaware of where the ball was dropping the Lincoln fullback. Carey. Mustafa. A little short for Butterworth, but shows good tenacity there against Sedgemore. Well, the Lincoln supporters behind the goal appealing the referee that had gone out of play. It's a lovely passing movement this. This is Justin Jackson. Underwood. Towards Patmore. It's Holmes who gets the header for Lincoln. And Carey gives away the free kick.
Determined play by Finnegan. Quality left-footed players on this field this evening. Rushden have got a nice triangle on their left side.
There's Kingsley Black, who we know has got a quality left foot, but he's playing down the right tonight. Too much for Barnett on that pass. One of the more travel players at this level. This is his 7th club, signed from Wolves.
I think we can expect him to trap down the wide outside when Black comes inside on that left foot and plays into front players. He'll take his space coming from deeper positions at right back. Very chunky character, the right back of Lincoln.
Oh, Bimson gets up well ahead of Patmore. Finnegan pushed backwards by Carey. Well, despite that defeat on Saturday for Lincoln, the manager was impressed with the way they played. It was just the chances they missed and the terrible errors that beset their goalkeeper. That's why he's selected the same yellow shirts this evening. Mustafa. Held up by Peter Gain. Battersby back, the number 9. Carey playing it over the top, and Justin Jackson just impeded a little bit, but not enough for the referee to blow on his whistle. Thorpe finding Battersby, who returns the compliment. Well, that was a bit sloppy.
Well, that was a disappointing ball after a super bit of play by Thorpe. A lovely spin with Battersby and got the return ball.
Thorpe it was who scored the goal against Halifax on Saturday. Battersby, again looking out to that right-hand side. Kingsley Black. Staffer away. Underwood. Oh, that's good play from the fullback. Expansive pass, and Warren Patmore thought there must have been someone behind him, but it was he who it was intended for.
Well, I think he was looking for the first time driven ball towards the back post, actually, and I think he miscued it. Good play by Underwood to get the ball into that position.
As Brian Talbot reckons, he's got probably the 2 best fullbacks in the 3rd division this season, in Tarkan Mustafa and Paul Underwood. Here is Underwood again. He's also the standing captain in the absence of Ray Warburton, who's injured. Battersby. Kingsley Black. He's got Sedgemore out on the far side, instead it's further back to Barnett. Battersby and Kingsley Black. Well, it favoured his left foot and it wasn't too far off.
That would have been an excellent goal. There was Black playing that ball. We spoke about it before the game. Coming in field, playing off the front player with his left foot, using his left foot, getting the return, and just not able to get round the ball enough. Sometimes can be very disconcerting for left-footed left-backs when they're playing against someone who comes consistently on their inside foot. The Black-Underwood confrontation tonight will be very interesting.
Finnegan sliding it inside the other fullback, Mustafa, who does well to slide it out of play. Gain. That's the second wayward pass by Lee Thorpe tonight, who missed training earlier this week with a knock.
Alan Buckley would have been unhappy with that ball. He was one of the best centre forwards at keeping the ball, having the ball into his feet, manoeuvring the ball so that someone in a better position could eventually receive it, but he could hold the ball up in super fashion. Thorpe there, guilty of 2 lazy passes.
Flick was by Brady. Finnegan. Nicely left by Thorpe, allowing Battersby to batter his way forward. Not a bad pass either to Kingsley Black. It's in towards Thorpe. The header was by Rodwell. Bimson. And it's Sedgemore with the header.
Could he have got that back across the goal guy? I'm not sure. Thorpe was waiting, ready to pounce. But it was a good ball in by Bimson. He obviously likes to look for that back post when he gets into advanced territory.
Rodwell trying to search out Brady. Bimson wins the header. Gain plays that blind. There are around about 800 Lincoln City supporters here tonight, considering that last season was one of the worst in the last decade. They've shown shown great loyalty at the start of this season. Barnett's header. Well, it's terrific to see two sides in the third division getting it down, playing it, even from the defenders.
Well, there's often people in football think that left-footed players have something special to offer. We saw it with the Dutch last night, and even the Dutch under-21s. They had a proliferation of left-footed players, and we've got a lot of left-footed players on the field tonight, and in terms of quality in their passing, they're quite good. Butterworth certainly at left back, Underwood, Gray on the left-hand side, and for Lincoln, of course, on the left-hand side, Bimpson and Gain. So expect to see some good passing.
Well, it's been a very opening start to this game. Very open start, I should say. Barnett. Sedgemore. Thorpe. Here comes Justin Jackson. He's very quick and he runs the channels really well. Brady. First time up towards Patmore. Good header by Holmes, and he's also got the benefit of the referee's whistle.
Yeah, solid defensive header. Watch the ball all the way. Nice one to go and attack.
Former Preston North End centre-half, but he's spent the last 7 years with Lincoln City. Another former Preston centre-half who got in ahead of Justin Jackson at the expense of a throw-in. Patmore. This is Butterworth, who was nearly there from the beginning, 1994. When he joined Rushden Diamonds. By far and away their most experienced player. Lovely flick by Jackson. Underwood's got time to measure this cross towards Patmore!
Well, some may say Patmore might have done better. It's a good ball in, but watch Bimpson. So on the half turn all the way, he's got his eye on the ball, trying to cope with the man who's much taller, but in the end he just did enough to put him off.
Another little touch. I had to think about it. Close line, I had to think about it.
Nice to hear the referee talking to the players, making it quite clear what the decision is for. It all helps the spirit of the game, I feel, when the referee is talking in that manner.
Kingsley Black delivering the ball. Thought needs some support. Good centre-forward play by Justin Jackson. Brady was aware that there was a man to his right, Mustafa. Brady picks it up again. Carey's unmarked, and he's found.
Just a slightly excitable pass there by Carey. Neat little build-up, nice triangle. Mustafa playing the ball in, but then Carey possibly playing a slightly too fast and possibly too straight ball. Wanted a soft angled ball into the striker.
Simon Hill touched on it with Brian Talbot before kick-off that Brian Talbot hasn't actually spent any money for over a year, has brought in Warren Patmore and it's a free transfer during the summer, but basically it's a tried and tested set of players that he's built up over a course of time, and there is a real understanding out there.
Well, there's no substitute for both team shape, organisation and spirit, and that's what you build up sometimes when you don't bring too many people in. The worst thing possibly they could have done when they came into the league was all of a sudden go and make 6 or 7 signings and destroy all the camaraderie that's been built up at this club.
Loose pass by Underwood. Finnegan just got away from Carey. Bit of space for Bimson, and he's got Gain going to his left-hand side.
Needs to play it early. Gain in the end runs out of ideas where to run, how to find space.
Oh, nice turn by Thorpe, and he's going to go for goal. Ricocheted against Rodwell. One of the things we can expect from these 24 professional referees this season, a bit more dialogue with the players?
I hope so. I think it's a good thing. I think players tend to respect referees who are prepared to communicate with them and not try and be above them in any way or beyond them, to try and come down to their level and talk as the game goes along.
Jackson. And the effort was by Gray. It was on the unfavoured right foot.
As the great Bill Nicholson once said to me when he went to watch a player, who sent me to watch him? He doesn't prepare well for the ball. And certainly that one on his right foot, his unfavoured right foot, he didn't get in line with the ball to make a good touch. And it's even harder to hit it first time. If he'd have just taken and addressed the ball and tried to take the weight off it a little bit, he might have had a better chance to get a good leverage.
Tony Finnegan has been penalised for Lincoln.
Quite impressed with Finnegan's start, working very hard in the middle of the field there for Lincoln.
Good old up and under from Peters. Moore's not had the service so far, and has not been as dominant in the air as perhaps he had been in pre-season when he was scoring a cluster of goals. Bimson in again quickly, this time against Brady.
No nonsense, Rodwell. First to the ball.
Well, on Sunday we've got live football, Chelsea against Newcastle United. That programme starts at 1 o'clock and it's on ITV Sports Select. That's the new pay-per-view programme. And then on the ITV Sport channel, a cracking Midlands derby to look forward to. Coventry against Wolves, and our programme kicks off at 6 o'clock. Wins the header for Lincoln. Battersby will chase, and Rodwell made good contact on that dropping ball.
Not an easy skill that, coming over his shoulder. No nonsense, the Rushden centre-backs. That's what we'll need in this league.
Patmore has been penalised for backing into Morgan. Thorpe. Oh, Finnegan makes a clever little run. Makes the pass easy for Thorpe. Space for Kingsley Black. Plenty in the centre if they can get the cross in. Battersby. Sedgemore. Bimson calling for it and receiving it. Maybe thinking of letting fly. Holmes. Oh, Thorpe was quicker than Rodwell. And he's won the corner for Lincoln. Good spell of pressure.
Yeah, Thorpe made a poor selection, a good ball then. going away from goal. Little dink over the top. I like Thorpe. Seems to have a good attitude and he has good movement.
Both the centre halves are going forward. Plenty of yellow in the centre. But it fails to get over the first Rushden Diamond defender. Black will have another go. He's venturing into the area. It's on the left foot, and all it needed was a ricochet.
Well, Brian Talbot won't be very happy here as Black was attacking the left back there. The space, you see there, Black coming in towards there. Look at the space. If Black can get beyond the left back there, Underwood, my word, he has far too much room. The cover player must have pushed further across there. He gave him far too much opportunity there, and Kingsley may regret that he didn't do better. It was from a good position that he finally manoeuvred himself.
He's played for Northern Ireland. He even played for Nottingham Forest in the Premiership. Ryan Clough paying £1.5 million. Underwood. In towards Patmore. Just got in front of his defender for the first time, and Brady's effort was limp, and Bimson is slightly fortunate that Lincoln got away with that. Sean Carey, it's not the first time he's been penalised, and the ref, I think, will just have a word with him again. 3 strikes and it's going to be a yellow. The gist of that message.
Well, he let the ball run across his body, slightly misjudged it, and then you see there was a little bit of a shirt pulling. 2 competitors there. Carey and Finnegan in midfield. They're like leeches. They're standing alongside each other, trading blow for blow. Who'll come out on top? Neither team changed the shape. They started in 4-4-2. Everyone's still in their little pocket. Everyone's playing neat and tidy. We're looking for some penetration.
Maybe it'll come from Gray again. It's weak, at least on target this time. In his defence, Stuart Gray missed a lot of pre-season, missed the game also at York on Saturday, and was a late fitness test today. So he might not quite be on top of his game as yet.
That was funny there. Carey, after he went close to Finnegan, he looked at the referee to ask the referee for his look of satisfaction. Was that all right, ref?
Thorpe gets another opportunity. Finnegan, clever little player. Picking up the ball so quickly and eager to take a quick throw in for Rushden Diamonds, but just wouldn't happen.
So far we haven't seen that young man get forward. We're looking for Mustafa to start making progress down the right hand side and support Brady.
Well, it's a credit to Lincoln really in the way they've played. The fullbacks have had to do as much defending as attacking here at home. Mustafa. Battersby. Oh, good play by Mustafa. That's just Brady with a bit of space in front of him. Butterworth going for goal. It'll be fitting if he scored the first goal here.
Yeah, super servant. There's the ball. It's not an easy one to control. He knocks it down and it sits up beautifully for him to half volley. Great servant. Remember him as a boy at Peterborough, and then I think he drifted off to Dagenham, and I should think there was times when he never thought he'd be back playing in the league, but testimonial year and a fine example of how players who go out of the league can eventually get back.
Support clearance straight to Lee Thorpe. What can he do with it? The block was by Rodwell, and Turley is grateful to his centre half. Underwood. Jackson. Butterworth continues his run into the penalty area. Gray. Easily picked off by Holmes, able to direct it to a teammate as well. Well, Brady's done really well there to keep that in play. Carey. Patmore. Gray continues his run and Jackson was just offside. Ref allows a good advantage there.
Yeah, well done, referee. Get on with the game. I get the feeling watching the Rushden strikers that Patmore likes to face up and is probably more confident facing up. Jackson, when he's facing up, isn't really happy and he wants to run on, he wants to run behind. They need to get it up to Patmore, and then once you get it back to Butterworth, he's got to slide it through. Jackson's got to be running. He's got this pace, he can get behind the centre-backs, I'm sure, but he's got to time his run and the ball's got to be delivered from a good angle.
There goes Jackson, timing his run well on this occasion. Patmore goes into the centre. Underwood. Carey showing. Underwood again. Patmore at the back post and aimed towards the big number 19.
Well, it's a ploy that I'm sure they're going to try and exploit. Brian Talbot will have looked at that, I think, at half-time, and he will say, let's get into advanced positions down the left if we can. We've got three good deliverers, Gray, Butterworth, Underwood, and let's hit Patmore at the back post, because there he is making notes. Could well be he's thinking some diagonals. Patmore's got the jump, certainly at the back post on Bimson.
This was a hard decision for Brian Talbot to play Patmore straight off. He wanted to keep faith basically with the team that got him into the Football League, but Dwayne Darby picked up an injury early on. Patmore came in and, well, has been scoring on a regular basis. 6 in 4 since his arrival from Yeovil during the summer. Towards Battersby, another big, strong centre forward. Bimson continues his run and acts as a decoy for gain.
Get in the box, get in the box. Go away.
Bimson asking Morgan to make space, give him a bit of depth. Don't crowd the throw-in.
He's dug out a really good cross there for Thorpe. And Thorpe again. Only a goal kick.
Quality ball in. In fact, a tremendous ball in there. Thorpe the first header, and Thorpe the acrobatic volley.
Well, he's been their top scorer in 3 of the seasons since he arrived from Blackpool 4 years ago. Thorpe wins the header, but only serves in finding Patmore. Battersby.
Well, the cross there didn't match the control. The control was excellent by Battersby, pulling that one down. I think Brian Talbot would be relatively happy with the way things are going. Very important after you've won an away game, particularly on the first day, that you don't lose the great opportunity to consolidate when you come back at home within days. And you know, a point tonight wouldn't be too bad. It's important not to lose early on and to keep the confidence building.
that's making the noise at the moment. I think they can be happy with the way their team have set about this game. Thorpe had that good opportunity. There haven't been too many, has there, in this opening 45, but Alan Buckley will be pleased that his side have weathered the storm. But for Alan Buckley, these two might have missed each other. In fact, Lincoln were heading for the relegation spot last year in the Football League until he arrived in February and hauled them away from trouble. Good ball by Finnegan. Space for Kingsley back. Support from Barnett, but he's been dragged inside on that left foot. Bimson. Space for Gain. Brady. Jackson continues his run. He's quick, but will he make up that ground on Morgan? The answer is no.
Very good defending. Fine bit of defending.
Patmore finding Brady and then spinning into the penalty area himself, hoping for some clever service from this right-hand side. Carey.
Once again, a calmer ball needed.
Kingsley Black on the counter-attack for Lincoln City.
Got out of trouble there, Finnegan. Allowed the ball to run across his body, but the pace of the ball was just a little bit too sharp and he nearly got into trouble, but regained it well.
Well, there we are. Lincoln have more than held their own so far in this opening half, 56% of possession. Against a team who only lost here once last season. That was against the great rivals Yeovil. Barnett continues his run. Rodwell, born in Lincoln, puts that out for a throw-in. Kingsley Black and Sedgemore going for goal. What a bad effort.
Neat triangle, Thorpe, Black coming in, taking it off him, using Sedgemore. There's the little chip ball, Thorpe coming out, deftest of touches, chest, early ball, Black. That would have been a fine, fine goal. Showing the importance of moving the ball quickly and making angles.
And Sedgemore, a former England schoolboy international. Bimson. Still going. Good play by the fullback. Carey's header away for Rushden and Diamonds. Just caught a glimpse there of Alan Buckley and Keith Alexander, his number 2, with smiles on their faces. I think that told its own story. And very relaxed. Battersby.
Lincoln just looks slightly more relaxed side when they're moving around the field and making the width with the passing. They look as though they're confident and they're enjoying what they're doing. Rushden just a little bit more frenetic, getting the ball forward a little bit more quickly than Lincoln are trying to do. And as a consequence, is there the support for Jackson and Patmore?
kick. Battersby and Thorpe side by side. Holmes, the centre half, and Morgan side by side on the edge of the penalty area. Game with the delivery. Kingsley Black. Quickly away by Butterworth. Finding Jackson. Not a lot of support, but he's certainly not short of confidence. Underwood. Underwood again. Patmore bobbing about on the penalty spot. Jackson in towards Gray, and it's just offside.
It's a clever little ball actually into the box.
Well, it's not, is it? Think that was offside? Touch and go, certainly. Steve Holmes maybe was the deep-lying defender, but anyway, it is a free kick. And Lincoln have earned, if that was a bit of good fortune. 5 minutes to go to half-time, no goals. Too many shots on goal, but plenty of patient football all the way from the back through the middle to the front. Just a lack of cutting edge at the moment. Battersby. Bimson. Oh, Thorpe's done well with his pace to get in ahead of Peters.
Yeah, he's strong over 6 or 7 yards. And he's been well served by Finnegan. He's playing some good balls in, and I like the way Finnegan continues his run at times. It's the difference between the Rushden midfield. 2 midfield players at Rushden are very much sitting players. There's a little bit more movement about the Lincoln midfielder, particularly Finnegan.
Kingsley Black to arc this one outwards. It's Holmes arriving. And Bimson's going to go for goal, and it's hit the top of the stand. Smile's gone.
Quite demanding, Alan. Keeps coming back for this management game. It's very frustrated with lesser mortals. He was such an excellent team player, and because he was so small, he had to play the ball on the deck, Alan Buckley, but of course he's scored many, many goals for Birmingham City, and of course for Walsall after he left Nottingham Forest, where he really made his name.
Jackson. Gray. Patmore, and Bimson, having nearly scored at the other end, was grateful to see that one slide behind for a corner at his end.
Well, the value of the early cross, the left-footed cross early in. Patmore causing confusion. Bimson grateful for the corner, I think. Could have been embarrassment.
Gray to take this corner. Jackson comes short. And Battersby skews it out for another corner. Again in, and Holmes wins the header. Still plenty of bodies forward for Rushden. Game. Underwood's come across, covering for Mustafa. Quickly taken free kick, and too quickly taken for Kingsley Black's liking. Battersby. Underwood does well. In his more familiar surroundings. Carey. Butterworth. Jackson's got the pace now. Can he get away from Morgan? Good defending.
Doesn't look the tallest of players, Morgan. Jackson showing some surprise that the referee didn't give him the benefit of a free kick. But Morgan looks a stickler, and he looks as though he's got a bit of pace. And I think he's young.
He's one of so many players that spent the summer trying to prove himself to a club after being released. And indeed he did prove his worth to Alan Buckley and has been given a 2-year contract. Battersby. Well, he went low for that one. I think that's what Rodwell's complaining about.
It was a nice ball in by Morgan, and to be fair, Rodwell couldn't get to the ball, and he shouldn't have attempted to try and make the physical challenge. He's asking for trouble there. It's best to go in tight, then maybe drop off, and then face the player in possession. Sometimes you've got to be patient. You can't win everything.
It's quite some way out, but Rushden Diamonds have put 3 and a bit in the wall. Shows their concern. Got some big hitters in this Lincoln side. Looks like Kingsley Black is possibly shaping to the right of the 3 as we look. Said it's going to be Holmes. Took a deflection. Good take by the goalkeeper because it might have just yorked him.
Actually, the pace was taken off by the deflection, which gave Turley a little bit more chance. But a good save, good technique.
1 minute of stoppage time in this first half as Holmes clears. Butterworth. Oh, good ball. But Patmore, who hasn't had much to smile about in this first half, is caught offside.
Well, Patmore was saying it was close. Of course it was close. All offsides are usually marginal.
Bimson. Well, the first 45 minutes of Football League action at Nene Park have been goalless, much to the disappointment of Warren Patmore. Lee Thorpe came close for Lincoln, not too many chances. Hopefully it'll open up in the second half, but the home supporters are happy with the way things have gone so far. Rushden Diamonds 0, Lincoln 0.
Well, no doubt Rushden Diamonds fans would be happier if it were 1-0, but it's not. It's 0-0. Both sides have had chances, but it's goalless at half-time. Coming up, analysis of that first half. We're back in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to Nene Park, Northamptonshire. So no goals at half-time in this historic first home game in the Football League for Rushden Diamonds up against Lincoln City. There have been chances, but no goals thus far. It was pretty much Rushden who got things rolling very early on indeed, looking for that big lad up front, Warren Patmore, getting good balls into the box. In fact, it wasn't Patmore on this occasion, but Lincoln just forcing the attacker to just push wide. Later on, Lincoln came back into it. First Kingsley Black put through, just couldn't quite, as David Fleet said, wrap his foot around the ball, skied it high and slightly wide. But it was an interesting first half, boys. Pretty without being terribly penetrating, Gary.
Well, I think the biggest satisfaction that Brian Talbot will take from it is that it's still goalless.
Yeah.
Rushden, he won't be pleased with their performance. They didn't pass the ball anywhere near as well as they can do, and I think that's full credit to Lincoln because they've been much the stronger side, and they basically pressurised Rushden into plenty of mistakes.
Lincoln have built through the first half, John. Got themselves in control of this game at this stage.
Yeah, so Alan Buckley, he'll be delighted with that. I mean, after what the dodgy defending on Saturday, they've came here, set their stall out, and I think they've been a better side in the first half. I must admit I've been a wee bit disappointed with Rushden. Maybe the occasion's got to 1 or 2 players.
Yeah, indeed. Now, they've passed well, Gary, in terms of how you've analysed their movement in the first half, but it hasn't really led to anything.
No, there's, I just think there's a couple of examples here where they have good possession of the ball, it gets cut out there. Again, looking their philosophy of play, they're wanting to pass it all the time, but all the time they've got no, there's somebody up there, getting on pressurised into the situation. It's good passing movement, they're retaining the ball, but then really it's just come to nothing, and it's just a high hopeful ball up front, move breaks down. And again, we have another example here, nice passing on the ground, plenty of people involved. Ball goes into Patmore, he holds it up well, and this is a a relatively simple pass into space here, and it's not a good execution, and it breaks down once again. And they have shown when they have got forward in numbers and passed it well, what their strengths are. This is a great little move down the left-hand side, a good flick from Jackson. Underwood gets down the side, and that's a great delivery to the far post, and there's Patmore just wide.
Yeah, it's as we said, it's pretty without really any punch.
Yeah, there's not been enough penetration, and too often the final ball's been disappointing.
Is there too much of a gap between the front two and the midfield?
They've not really got the service up there where people with any confidence can go up and support. It's all kind of been fragmented. The clips that we saw there, they're quite deep line, the midfield players. But I think it's because they've been on the back foot, and they've got deeper and deeper, and that's again full credit to Lincoln. Conversely,
with Lincoln, John, whilst Patmore and Jackson for Rushden are perhaps finding their feet as a striking duo, Thorpe and Battersby look quite nicely suited to each other in Lincoln's front two.
I think they've done ever so well. I mean, as a combination, they seem to know where each individual is. I mean, if you look at this little instance here, I mean, Thorpe to Battersby, they can get a little 1-2, and they've held the ball up well as well. I mean, as Battersby holds the ball up, plays it inside. Kingsley Black, he'll be disappointed he didn't at least hit the target on that occasion. Here's another little instance there. Thorpe to Battersby again. Battersby just sets up another attack. The two of them they've done ever so well. They've kept the ball up front, held it up for them. As a result, the midfield of Lincoln can get up and support. But there is one thing missing from both sides, and that is just a wee bit of penetration around the box. Everything seems to be in front of the opposing side's defenders. You've got to get in behind them.
But where Patmore and Jackson are looking to strike up a rapport and not really quite sure what the other one's doing, they've got a similar sort of combination in the sense they've got a quickie in Thorpe and a biggie in Battersby, but they know what their strengths are and they're playing to them more.
Well, yeah, what you've got to realise, I mean, these two guys from Rushden, it's the first time, the second time they've played together, whereas, I mean, all last year, the two Lincoln boys played together, so they know each other's game inside out, and I'm sure Alan Buckley, you can see that a lot of the work that they do out there has been done in the training grounds.
Are you all happy with Lincoln overall, half-time?
I'm delighted, yes, I'm sure. I mean, Alan Buckley will be delighted as well. They've cut the mistakes out, and they've gone out there, and in my opinion, have been a better side in the first half.
Yeah, we talked about how Brian Talbot might have mellowed a little bit. He won't be very mellow at half-time, will he, Gary?
He won't be, no. I think he'll be a bit disappointed. I mean, we spoke about Mustafa in the first half. He's not got forward at all. Brady's a very useful player on the right-hand side. He's not delivered any crosses at all. And it's because they've been taken the other way. And he'll be wanting a lot more from his side.
More direct or more patience?
Well, the long ball specialist will be saying get it more direct and get up there and lump it a little bit more because you've been ever so pretty in possession, but it's not working. But I think Brian will just be saying make sure that your passing is a little bit better, and then it'll give us a chance to get people forward. And if the forwards can retain it, and then people can join as well.
OK, thank you both for the moment. Time for a very quick cup of tea now. Rush, because we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Now listen, fellas, second half, what can we expect? More of the same, hopefully not.
Well, I mean, I think both teams are cancelling each other out. They're both playing the 4-4-2 system. But it's early season, I just feel that the last 20 minutes, the game will be a wee bit stretched. It'll open up and you'll get more chances. I'm sure about that.
Yeah, you see it opening up, Gary?
I think there's substitutions going to be quite important in this game. I think Darby will definitely come on.
This is Dwayne Darby.
Dwayne Darby formed a lethal partnership with Jackson last season. I think Patmore's not really had the service. It's, second game in a week. He got taken off after about 70 minutes the other day.
Looks a bit heavy still. I know he's lost about a stone in weight, but perhaps just a bit heavy at the moment. John Hendry's smiling.
That's what he used to say about me as well.
He thinks Warren Patmore looks excellent at 15 stone, and he's back out. So the Dwayne Darby substitution, if it's going to happen, won't be for Warren Patmore, at least not immediately. OK, players back out. Thank you very much to Gary and John for the moment. Let's rejoin our commentators for the second half and hope for some goals. David Pleat. I beg your pardon, before we go back to David Pleat and Gary Havell, just testing, boys, just testing. We're going to hear from Brian Talbot, the Rushden manager, who's downstairs with Simon.
Brian, is it fair to say that you've yet to hit top gear in this game?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think they've had more of the ball than us. They've passed it very well. We haven't got into our stride properly. We've said a few words at half-time, and we think we can do a bit better.
OK, Brian, enjoy the second half. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks very much.
Yes, Lincoln just returning out onto the pitch. Obvious that Brian Talbot's not overly happy with that opening 45 minutes. But remember how much hype there has been for this game, and it's been such a long cherished dream to play Football League here at Nene Park, and the TV cameras are here, and maybe a bit of stage fright in that opening 45 minutes. Warren Patmore and Mustafa will hope to G things up in the second half for those supporters who've been patient tonight and patient in recent years. Well, Lincoln, more of the same, I think, with maybe just a bit more penetration up front. That's what they're looking for. No changes at half-time, but the option of changes. And the onus will be on the new boys to try and break down the deadlock in this second half. Spoke for, well, several hours really about Brian Talbot and Rushden and Diamonds and their Football League debut, but it's worth pointing out that Lincoln City are in fact one of the oldest clubs in the country, and their Football League debut was way back in 1892, and it was a remarkable 12 months for the Football League because 3 other teams entered: Liverpool, Woolwich Arsenal, and a team from Manchester called Newton Heath. 1, 2 and 3 in our Premiership last season. Maybe one of the reasons why Lincoln have never really got anywhere near the top flight of English football. Barnett just chips that up, and yet again Lee Thorpe comes between 2 players. Unable to control the header on that occasion though. Peters ahead of Battersby. Kerry keen to take the free kick quickly. Instead he'll leave it for Peters. Patmore. Trying to return it to Gray. Kerry. And Thorpe giving away the free kick. David, I think you agreed with the boys at half-time that the Lincoln front two had a better understanding than the Rushden front two. Yeah, in the first period, far more compatible. Thorpe doing particularly well, taking the other channel. If the ball was coming down the left, peeling off into the other channel. Battersby quite strong in his hold-up play. Thorpe's definitely got a bit of sharpness, and he's got a football brain. It'll be interesting. The first 15 minutes will absolutely be vital for Brian Talbot, particularly. He has to see some kind of change in the manner of which they're playing. Brady will chase that one. It's going to be a corner to Rushden and Diamonds. With both teams keeping the same shape, the same individuals. Brian quite clearly will have said, you've got a quarter of this half to show me that you can influence the game. If he doesn't, or if anyone doesn't, then he's going to have to make changes. Centre-half striding purposely forward. Oh, good take. Oh, Marriott came out and got a lot of stick on Saturday for his errors, but terrific take here. Look at the height he gets there. There was some suggestion that he might be dropped for this game, but Alan Buckley has stuck behind his young goalkeeper. Sedgemore with the header, trying to find Thorpe. Battersby for Lincoln. Brady. Jackson. Kerry did well to find Brady. His first intention was to shunt it out to that right-hand side to Mustafa. Instead, it's Peters who does that.
Go on, Peter! Go on! Get it down!
Underwood. Chase for Patmore. One that he loses. Really interesting character, this Rushden and Diamond striker. Gave up football for 2.5 years in his late teens to try and become a professional golfer. Has a sign-writing business in Watford. Yes, he does. Underwood. Not too much distance on the clearance from Bimson. Brady now trying to turn Bimpson, who was tight to him. Thorpe. A bit more pace about Rushden and Diamonds' play at the start of this second half, but still not quite the cohesion.
Yeah, more pace, but still there's not that calmness of passing. The exact pass sometimes has to be a slower pass, a softer pass, an angled pass.
Oh, it's a big boot forward, and Justin Jackson is onside. The keeper thought once, thought twice, and I think it was the third time he finally made up his mind to come.
I think the third time he got a bit lucky, because it very much looked as though Jackson had stolen the thought process on Marriott. He seemed frozen after he'd made his indecision.
Holmes puts it out of play. Gray off Holmes and behind, hurriedly off Holmes for a corner. Rushden just shading it in terms of corners so far. And Brady comes her up here.
Well, that's good goalkeeping, coming amongst bodies, being strong. He is a young man. I was speaking to Pat Jennings this afternoon about him at Tottenham. Pat was one of the coaches who dealt with Alan Marriott at Spurs. Like other goalkeepers, particularly one Brown, who went to Colchester, often at the bigger clubs, they don't get the opportunities they deserve and their progress gets stunted and they have to go out and make their way, and it's only when they come up in the more frenetic league football that you really find out their qualities.
Bimpson, left by Battersby. Held up by Bimpson. Bimpson really has been in the thick of the action tonight, the bald Lincoln left back. Rodwell's header, flicked on by Carey. Thorpe. Finnegan. Bimpson's got a hatful of yellow in the centre. Gets it back. Neat interchange with Lee Thorpe.
Yeah, nice set-up ball. Bimpson not tracked. There we see him play that first ball. He's coming for the return and he gets quite easily on his right foot, unchallenged.
It's ironic, isn't it? The boys picked out the full-backs of Rushden and Diamonds beforehand and how they get forward, and yet it's Bimpson who we've seen get into a number of attacking positions. Yeah, he's not physically unlike that pocket dynamo called Archie Gemmell of a few years ago, because Archie was a left footer and a real busy player. Bimpson a left back, served Lincoln well for a few seasons now. Here is Mustafa. Another opportunity to try and get the ball into the area. Morgan clearing. Thorpe comes short. Let's go to our touchline reporter Simon Hill, who's got some news for us.
Yes, Guy, the Rushden and Diamonds manager Brian Talbot has just told Dwayne Darby to start warming up. 24 goals in the conference last season. We may see him in a little while.
There he is. He does have quite a bit of Football League experience under his belt with Hull City and Notts County and Torquay as well. Patmore. Jackson making ground on Morgan, but not enough to get in with a goal-scoring opportunity.
Well, there we see the value of pace. Looked as though Jackson was going to get in there. But Morgan, we mentioned him first half with a couple of very good recovery challenges.
The keeper is getting more and more confident, coming further and further. Interesting to see what Brian Talbot does do with his formation. We spoke about this 4-4-2, whether he'll throw on Derby and keep the other forwards on as well.
Could well be, Guy, that a more direct approach, earlier balls. We said early on they had left footers to put diagonals in. We've seen nothing this half of that ilk. And it may be with another striker in there and a more direct play, but sometimes it can be very difficult to play with 3 strikers of the same type all up there. They tend to get narrow, you tend to lose width. Width has to come from behind, and unless you're not a footballing side, it's hard to do that.
Patmore with the flick on. And it clears twice. Neither overly effective. Morgan. Nice intention from Bimson, just too much on the pass. Patmore obviously heard the call. He had plenty of time and space, but he really didn't use it effectively. Battersby. Kingsley Black in space. Underwood comes across. Battersby. Oh, he played that blind. It had been patient and thoughtful up until then.
I have to say, I think he won't change the shape, Brian Talbot. I think he'll go straight one. I think he'll probably do Derby with Patmore. We'll see if they're thinking alike.
Off goes Jackson. Pointed to where he wanted the ball from Mustafa. Patmore's in the centre, so too Carey. And it's Gray with the header. Stooping low in the end.
That was a good position. It really needed heading back across the goal. Might have just crept in, but Marriott followed it fairly comfortably. Here we see it again. I almost think the mascot bear is going to dive in and head it round the corner.
It's neither Stuart Gray or Dazzler could put that one in. A bit more purpose about Rushden Diamonds in the second half. Just the sight of Dwayne Derby warming up might gee up, particularly the front two. Jackson, good touch to find Patmore, and Jackson continues his run. Keeper left it to his defender, Steve Holmes. Gray. Mustafa. Jackson turning. And Justin Jackson going for goal. Well, the front two haven't had too many efforts tonight, and that was all his own creation.
Yeah, it did well coming across the goal. It was safe and nice and tidily kept by Marriott. But there's more purpose to Rushden, there's no doubt about that. They've picked up a yard. There's a little spring in the step.
Bradley Thorpe has got Barnett steaming down that right-hand side. Well, they've got the corner. The home supporters don't agree with the...
We should bow to his judgment.
In front of the Lincoln supporters. Crossbar, and appeals for handball. Morgan it was who had the initial efforts. Finnegan's shot was blocked, but was there a handball? We'll see in a minute. Battersby, Sedgemore. Well, it's a strong claim from the Lincoln supporters behind the goal. Thorpe, and Battersby, it's opened up. Game! Oh, best chance of the night so far, and it's fallen to Peter Gain and Lincoln City. Morgan having hit the crossbar just seconds before, but should they have had a penalty?
Well, it was a good header by Morgan, meeting the ball. Then I feel there's no question about it, there was an attack with a hand. There we see, quite simply, there's no doubt about it, in my view, Rodwell misjudged it, and then as he came down, his hand met the ball. Lincoln appealed, but Peter Gain probably tried to be too acrobatic in his attempts to turn that ball in, and meanwhile we've had a substitution, everything's happening. Patmore off, Derby on.
Yes, the team that scored 40 goals between them, but defending again are Rushden and Diamonds. Lincoln really got their tails up. Unfortunate to still be on level terms. Bimson puts it in menacingly, and well, Turley only punched. Thorpe. Well, we haven't had too many talking points so far tonight, but we had a couple there, and David Pleat believing, like the 800 or so Lincoln supporters, that their side should have had a penalty.
I just felt Rodwell lost himself.
Oh, mistake by Barnett. This is Jackson.
Well, there's no question the game's opening up now. Forwards able to come off and attack defenders. It was Morgan there that was watching, being half-turned, looking to block, but too far a distance away from Jackson. He had an opportunity there, Jackson. There's Rodwell.
There's Rodwell, who I'm sure was grateful that the first ever Football League goal here at Nene Park wasn't down to his hand. It's a stiff back pass by Sedgemore. Marriott hurried by Dwayne Darby. Gray continued his run. Jackson. And it was Brady arriving at the far post.
That really was a fabulous run. I don't know if you expect Jackson to cross it with his left foot from that angle, but Brady must have made good 20-30 yards to get on that ball. But the game certainly has gone up a notch, and I think we'll see a goal here tonight, because both teams now are really going for it.
Morgan missing the header. The man who came so close to breaking the deadlock when he hit the crossbar. Gain over the crossbar, and a strong penalty claim. Lincoln certainly haven't come here on the back of that opening day defeat looking for a point. Derby. Dwayne Derby. Well, in the end, it's slightly disappointing. He felt he was set to rifle at goal, and in the end, he didn't even get the benefit of a corner decision.
Well, he looks a powerful boy, but that was delicate. There was the dummy, there was the change of pace, and there was quite a clever thought in the back of that player's head.
Not too far away in the end, was it?
That was a good surge. He's fresh. Could he have an important part to play? 65 minutes gone. He's got time to make an impact.
I think he's got something to prove as well, having been left out of this starting lineup, despite the fact that he was the top scorer, not only for Rushden Diamonds, but in the whole division last season. Jackson, fed by Gray. Oh, good ball in, and it's Brady who stabs it wide.
Good play, Jackson. Made an angle, got it in early, nasty ball. And Brady, give Brady credit. Yes, he's missed a chance, but once again he's made good ground to get in the box.
Well, that was something he did to great effect last season. 11 goals from midfield for the Australian-born midfielder. And certainly it's a different game now in the last 10 minutes. Thorpe, able to turn, and able to run, and Thorpe still going. Rodwell just did enough. Carey, Jackson finding good space on that far side, free to his left-hand side. Gray, feels for handball, but only from supporters. Derby, can he turn homes? He can! Well, he's made an immediate impact.
Has a lovely turn. Trying to roll him in the box, trying to wait for the ball, shield the ball, and then he gets half turn and hits the early shot. They're the hard shots for goalkeepers to take. What Lincoln must do at the moment is to try and hold the full-backs, Barnett and on the other side Bimson, because Jackson and Derby are getting down the sides too easily, and they're beginning to run, for the first time they're beginning to run the Lincoln defenders.
And we're seeing signs of that understanding between the Rushden front two, born of their experience last season. Said it's a difficult one to call at the moment. 0-0, 67 minutes gone. 68 now. Carey just losing out to Finnegan. That's been a tremendous tussle in the centre of midfield. Mustafa. Jackson, good ball. Butterworth made himself available. Options left and right. Dwayne Derby. Underwood. Well, he's getting much further forward, which is an indication of how Rushden and Diamonds at last are taking the game to the opposition. Morgan's head, back in by Butterworth. Swap the relaxing seat in the stands for the pacing up and down along the touchline. We're getting to the business end of this first match here at Nene Park. Underwood. Carey, the call is to the right. Carey didn't see it, but Butterworth did. Derby. afraid to swing the corner in. Kingsley Black will chase for Lincoln, but Underwood is the clear favourite. Rodwell. Butterworth with a lovely little nutmeg on Finnegan, but is caught late by Thorpe. And that's going to be our first yellow card of the night.
Come on, Jacko! Jacko! Keep getting it!
Well, so far anything Thorpe's done has been good technically, and certainly hasn't looked a player who's run around chasing or being physical to players. But obviously the referee felt in that particular instant Butterworth's subtlety was enough to induce a foul challenge. There you see it through his legs to Finnegan. Well, harsh, I feel.
It was ungainly, yes, but played the ball. Now Mustafa's struggling a little bit here. Simon Parcell, the physio, on for the first time tonight. Well, here's this flurry of action in the Rushden penalty area. Morgan with the header. Keeper really was struggling there. Rodwell led with his arm and was fortunate not to give away a penalty.
I think Holmes had a header on as well.
And then not long after that, Gain just played it over the crossbar. So Rodwell's okay. Mustafa is also okay. For the time being, anyway. Rodwell's delivery, looking for Jackson. Time was the call, and Bimson heard it.
I like the way Finnegan does that, the way he lets the ball run across his body. Shades of Trevor Brooking, he'd be proud of that. Does it very well in the midfield, the combative midfield player of Lincoln City.
Kingsley Black. Pushing by Dwayne Darby. Opportunity for us to tell you about the next football. It's on Sunday with Premiership action as Chelsea face Newcastle at Stamford Bridge. It's part of the Premier League's new pay-per-view programme of matches. That's 1:30 on ITV Sport Select. And here on ITV Sport Channel, we've got the Midlands Derby, one to look forward to, Coventry against Wolves. Our programme starts at 6 o'clock. Battersby. Rodwell, well, I was going to say did enough. He thought he'd done enough. And the referee saw something he didn't like, and Lincoln have a free kick.
Last 15 minutes or so, they're going to be very important to both managers because they're assessing fitness at this stage of the season. They've had their pre-season games. By the time the second and third and fourth league games come in, they can really assess how things are going. Sometimes you go into the first game with a little bit of hope, but you're never sure. Battersby. Jackson's a willing chaser. I'll hope for an error here, maybe from Barnett. He's done much better, Jackson, since he's been paired with Derby. Underwood. Bimson away. Gray. Underwood. Defender slipped. Perhaps more time than he realised there, the fullback. That's a lovely pass.
It was Finnegan. He's had a terrific match. Sedgemore banging out to Gain. Mustafa working the triangles and eventually finding Dwayne Darby. And the assistant referee has seen something on that far side, backed up by the ref. Rushden have a free kick.
Well, the young defender Morgan has been given a harder time, still sticking to his task. There you saw the doggedness of the player. But it was a foul.
Entering the final 15 minutes. First ever Football League game here at Nene Park. Dwayne Darby. Brady. Holmes slightly fortunate to get away with that. Shinned it away. Thorpe. Oh, Battersby. With a second nutmeg we've seen on that particular part of the pitch. Followed also by a free kick. Peters into the channel. This is where Dwayne Darby likes it. Can't get away from Morgan. Been a much better second half by the Football League newcomers. Gray to take it. Oh, Finnegan had the space around him. He'll be grateful that it's eventually gone out for a Lincoln throw-in. You're Alan Buckley now, 12 minutes away from home. Do you take a point?
You stick with the way, yes, because he'll be able to say to these players, you kept your composure throughout. Okay, in the last 10-15 minutes, Rushden have been tremendously spirited. They've stepped up a pace. And their devil and drive is just beginning to unseat the more composed play of Lincoln. But no, we won't be too disappointed with the actual performance. He would have wanted probably more efforts around the box.
Gray. It's a goal kick. Stuart Gray probably is one of those players that David mentioned who still a little bit short maybe of 100% match fitness. Take a few more games. Rushden Diamonds certainly had the more glamorous pre-season with Arsenal and West Ham among the visitors here to Nene Park. Dwayne Darby was telepathically finding Jackson. Gray. Behind Butterworth. Underwood. Keeper's come for it. And he's taken a few of those tonight. And he's got rid of it quickly to Gain. Battersby, good flick. Thorpe. Gaines continued his run. Sedgemore.
I'd like to see Sedgemore play the ball forward a little bit more. Slightly negative in his thoughts when he picks up the ball in the centre of midfield there.
I think Thorpe was expecting that pass, but he's kept possession, and it was Sedgemore who, playing a forward pass, gave up possession. Dwayne Darby. Oh, he's there and picked up the pieces as Morgan was twisting this way and that, wondering where the ball had dropped.
But he stuck at it, and eventually the block came off him back to Marriott.
We're going to be asking David for his nationwide player of the match. a little later on. I think Paul Morgan will be among those players being considered. Dwayne Darby. It was maybe just a bit too clever by Brady. He had Carey just a couple of yards behind him. Peters. Black. Battersby. It's a big ask of Thorpe, and he's done well to squeeze a throw in out of that situation. Barnett. Bimson will get there first for Lincoln. Still a lot of yellow shirts ahead of the ball. Finnegan. Battersby. And Battersby will go for goal.
Just the end product so many times. Battersby's done some good things in this game. You know, he's a strong player, he can turn, he's got more ability than one suspects when you look at him physically. He looks just a tough player. Thorpe as well, he has got skill, there's no question about that. But they'll just be a little bit disappointed with the amount of actual goal efforts they've had from the interplay and all the passing that they've put in. Not enough thrust in that final third.
Holmes gets up high for Lincoln. Oh, Buttersworth has given the ball away to Gain. Interesting that we've only had one substitution with just under 8 minutes to go.
I think that's a reflection of the way the players have played. There's been some very solid performances here tonight. We've been looking for that something special to unlock the door. That is probably what we've lacked. In terms of technical ability, the players have done well.
Battersby. Thorpe's in the centre, Sedgemore as well, and Bimson's carved out a great crossing opportunity. Battersby. Finnegan! Well, they've had some chances in this second half. Doesn't he know it? Underwood waits until everyone's in position, including the markers.
No, too tight. All right, let me come off here then. Come here, Tony! Come here!
Defenders have done a sterling job so far, but they know one slip and it'll all be forgotten what they've done in the previous 85 minutes. Oh, the keeper's made his own luck really in the previous takes that he's collected in the second half, but that was unconvincing from Alan Marriott.
The ball held up a little bit and he was reaching at the end after he came, but he's had a good evening. He's handled the crosses very well. I'm sure if he listens carefully to Alan Buckley, he's going to step up the ladder again, and all credit to him. Bimson taking responsibility as he has all night. He's had a good game again. Spoke beforehand about the experience of that Lincoln back four. 3 of the 4 have been together for the last 6 years, and it really has showed with a solid performance. Derby unable to turn away from Steve Holmes. Underwood. Jackson, turn is the cry, and he does just that. Brady has popped up on a couple of occasions on that far side. Had to go and chase the ball on this occasion. Carey. Holmes' header. Gray. Underwood, offside. David, time to ask for your nationwide man of the match tonight. It's difficult. In my defence, I have to say before I start, I'm not that good a judge of defenders. I'm a better judge of attackers and creative players and sharp players and bright players. And in that respect, I've been quite impressed in midfield with the young Finnegan. I think he's been very busy and very bright with his passing. And I think also for Rushden, I think Jackson's done quite well in patches, particularly since Derby entered the fray. However, strangely enough, the man that's mocked Jackson for much of the evening, young Morgan, I'm going to give to the man of the match, because I think he's been dogged, he's shown pace, and I think he's blocked well. And all in all, I think it's been a difficult game for him, but I think he's done very, very well.
So a bottle of champagne to go with his new contract. Paul Morgan, the nationwide man of the match. Derby doesn't get the free kick despite the staring eyes at the referee. Bimson. Rodwell with the header. And you have to say on chances, Lincoln will be the more disappointed side if it is to remain at 0-0. Derby. 3 going into the centre for Rushden Diamonds. Tiring legs of Holmes just doing enough to prevent the cross, but he looks a weary man. Into the 90th minute. Rodwell takes up a position at the near post. And it's Peters arriving, but Peters penalising the goalkeeper.
As you mentioned earlier, Guy, rather strange, only one substitute. It makes a very interesting question to both managers after the game. I don't think either think negatively. You know, what we have we hold, looking for a point. They probably think that because they've both had a good shape all evening, if they haven't felt like tampering with it and have taken the chance that they might succeed in getting that first goal.
Brady. Gray's arriving. Goal kick.
Good decision by the referee. You saw the referee right on the spot there, as I think he gave the free kick there.
Just 1 minute of stoppage time, due to the fact that we've had so few substitutions and so few stoppages for injuries. Battersby. And that's full time. And sadly, no goals in the first Football League match here at Nene Park, but plenty of smiles and plenty of positives from both sides to take. Let's not forget, Brian Talbot's new boys are feeling their feet in this elevated league, and for Lincoln, on the back of the disappointments of Saturday, they'll be pleased with their performance. Indeed, they had the better chances, no doubt about it. In the second half, they hit the crossbar and had strong claims for a penalty, but they would have taken a point. And Max Griggs, the chairman of Rushden Diamonds, will think perhaps it's deja vu for him, because the first ever game for Rushden Diamonds against Bilston also ended all square. Dwayne Darby came on in the second half and added a bit more cut and thrust about Rushden Diamonds' play, but the home supporters can be pretty pleased with 4 points from their opening 2 matches. And they've got a Worthington Cup tie to look forward to next week against Burnley. Lincoln have got a local derby against Grimsby. Tonight it's all square. The hero was a defender, and he is now with Simon Hill.
Paul, you were supposed to be the fall guys this evening, but you certainly weren't.
We didn't see it as that. We played in Saturday against Halifax, disappointed with the result. We played some good football, and we came here to try and prove the fans and to prove all the doubters wrong, because I think we were the black horses for the season, but I think in the first half we played some good football. They came on to us a wee bit in the second half, and we could have scored a few goals, actually.
You were determined to put on a good defensive display after Saturday.
Yeah, well, it was a couple of errors, really, bad errors to concede, really, and but the whole game and all, we played really well, but we just unfortunate with 2 bad mistakes, really, by the lads.
And as you said, you could have scored a winner, notably your header that hit the crossbar.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, really. I didn't see much of it, really. I just tried to get my head on it and glanced and hit the bar, really, but I think we had a few chances before then. And disappointed really with the result, because we wanted to win, come here and win.
And there were appeals for a penalty right after your header hit the crossbar. Did you see that?
I didn't see that, to be honest. I was too much concentrating on the rest of the game, really, so I didn't really see that one.
It's a good point for you, though, and Paul Morgan, you are the nationwide man of the match. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Cheers. Thanks.
Well, Rushden Diamonds wanted a party this evening. They got a point and no more. Lincoln probably should have won it, but they didn't. So Rushden will live to fight another night and another day here at Nene Park. We're back in a couple of minutes with analysis of the 90 minutes. Welcome back to Nene Park. So it finished 0-0, home debut in the league for Rushden Diamonds against Lincoln. We'll get the views from the studio in a second, but let's hear from the home team manager, Brian Talbot, downstairs waiting to talk to Simon Hill.
Brian, your big night has not exactly been ruined, but am I right in thinking you're a wee bit disappointed?
But disappointed we haven't won. Obviously, you're always wanting to win your first league game. But if give fair play to Lincoln, they did very well. In first half, they were the better team. I think we played better second half, and we passed it a bit better, and we created a couple of half chances, but it wasn't to be. But fair play to the lads. They've worked hard tonight and got a good draw.
You brought on Dwayne Darby in the second half. He just gives you something a little bit extra, a bit different, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he's got a bit of know-how, he's got a bit of knowledge. He's played at this level for quite a while now, and he's used to it. So he leads the line, and as you say, he gives you another option.
And is he champing at the bit because he brought in another striker?
Yeah, I think he is. It's competition for places. We're trying to get a squad system here where people are fighting for their place, and that can only be good for the club.
They had a big appeal for a penalty, a possible handball against Jim Rodwell. Did you see it?
No, I didn't. There were so many bodies in there, but I'm sure television will find it. And the referee, to be fair to him, can't see everything. It might have been a penalty. I mean, I just spoke about it in the dressing room. I didn't see it, but they said it could have been a handball. In
a way, you're glad tonight's out of the way and the attention will perhaps die down a wee bit?
Yeah, I'm glad it is. Obviously, we wanted to try and get a win tonight. That didn't happen. But now we can hopefully get on with the next 44 games and get enough points to be in mid-table or safe. That's what we want to do this season.
The good thing is you're top of the league.
Well, was that for one day? Tomorrow, Saturday, I think something will happen. We won't be, but it's a good start for us. 4 points from 2 games. We're pleased with that.
Thanks for talking to us, Brian.
Thank you very much.
Brian Talbot talking to Simon Hill. It's funny how managers never quite see the penalty claims against their team. Selective blindness, perhaps. A good draw, he said. That was about right for Rushden, wasn't it, Gary?
It was about the best that they could expect from that game. It wasn't their greatest performance, but I think full credit to Lincoln, as I said already. They were probably the better side on the night.
Would Lincoln be disappointed? I guess they would, John.
I think so. I mean, it was a valid penalty kick claim, and it was just on the back of that ball coming off the crossbar as well. But they set their stall out and played ever so well.
Yeah, let's have a look at that incident. It was the incident of the second half. It was very much Lincoln's moment.
That's right. It was Jean-Paul Morgan getting up to head the ball there, but certainly Rodwell did lead with his hand.
Yeah, you can it all goes by in a flash, which maybe is the referee's excuse, but from the replay, and he is stood right in front of it, the ref. He can't have a better view of it, boys. And there's definitely a flailing hand.
I don't think if you lead with your hand that high, if you lead with your hand anyway, but if you lead with your hand that high, it's above the fella's head.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been a good challenge from the goalkeeper, but from one of the angle shots there, you could see the referee was in perfect position, and I really don't know why or how he's missed it.
If you look at Steve Holmes as well, I mean, his reaction to it, I mean, he's appealed for it straight away.
Yeah.
And certainly he had a header on the ball there.
Yeah. Should have been, probably could have been Lincoln's goal, and maybe the game would have been different, but it didn't go that way. Now, we talked at half-time about the Rushden strikers, Gary, not really communicating, Warren Patmore and Justin Jackson. Just explain why that was and how it changed with Dwayne Darby coming on.
Well, it just seemed to me that there was no real communication between them all night, and we've got a footage here that, you know, they're both looking at the ball, they're both running into positions. Again, they're not looking at each other, seeing where they are. You know, you can just see from their body language they're both looking up the pitch. There's no glancing, there's no movement, there's no discussion. And, you know, as I said, it was just, they're just trying to search for the right combination, I think, at the moment. And it's kind of conducive when you're a forward. It's a hard night. The defenders are on top. You're not getting the best of service. You get your head down a little bit, and really it becomes a bit of a hard trawl. And, you know, Jackson got in there on that particular occasion. But
Patmore's not ready, as we just saw as the clip ran out. He's going the other way.
Yeah, as I said, they've not played together very often, and it's a nice situation for Brian to have because they are all good goal scorers.
Yeah, guys to say got more than 60 last season. But as soon as Dwayne Darby came on, he made a difference. Now, obviously, he's played a lot more with Jackson, but he certainly made his presence felt.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure whether it was good link play between the two that made the difference, or the fact that he's got his bit between the teeth a little bit. But he's, you know, as Brian again said, he's got a good track record at this level. He's played a lot at this level, and he's a bit more direct. He's got a bit of pace, and he's quite strong. And you know, straight away he was into the action, good control on the edge of the box, very direct. Not quite sure whether he's trying to score there, which he shouldn't have been, or trying to cross it. But and again, good link-up play there. Darby back, putting Jackson in, and this is a great ball. And you've got Brady for one of the rare times on the night coming in at the far post, and that was one of their better moves. But again, wasn't really quite enough on the night.
If you were Brian Talbot, would you be thinking about maybe playing those two from the start next time, bringing Patmore on? Because he just looks a little bit short of match fitness at this level, perhaps.
He does, but he gives you a different option. I mean, the one thing they didn't really do an awful lot of tonight until they went the other way round was that they could have gone direct, and he does give you that option with his aerial ability, but then you've got to get people willing to go forward and join. So he's got a difficult decision, and it might vary away from home and on home how he plays it. You know, when they're away from home, they might have to play a little bit more direct because they're going to be backs against the wall a little bit.
Sure. It was defenders' night, John. You picked out, as David Pleat did, Paul Morgan as your man of the match as well.
I thought it was exceptional tonight. I mean, he's getting his career back on track after being released with Preston North End, and he done himself no harm tonight. You just see him here. He just shepherds Jackson out and puts the ball out for a corner kick, and he's stuck to his task ever so well. Here's another one here. He reads the script early doors and just comes in and stops Jackson getting the ball again on that occasion. But I was really impressed with him. I mean, the three strikers he was against tonight have scored, 60 goals last season? And it was a big match for him, but he stood up to a task. Look, he's strong there, and just dogged determination. There's no way that Darby's getting past him there, and he just sees the ball out for a corner.
I suppose Lincoln, in a way, it's a typical Division 3 survival strategy. Have a very solid, very dependable back four, and then see if you can nick a goal.
Yes, I must admit, that was the only thing I was disappointed in. They had probably 3 or 4 half chances, and they've got to have a wee bit more penetration up the other end. But certainly they came here, they kept a disciplined shape, 4-4-2, and they've done ever so well. It's just in the last third, I think, they've got to improve a wee bit better.
OK, thanks both for the moment. More from Nene Park in a moment. It hasn't quite gone to script for Rushden and Diamonds tonight. It's finished 0-0. Lincoln will go home reasonably pleased. Both sides will feel maybe they could have nicked it, but they didn't. We're back in a couple of minutes. Welcome back. It's finished. Rushden 0, Lincoln 0. So was the Lincoln boss Alan Buckley pleased or a bit peeved with the point he's talking to Simon Hill?
Well, Alan, you said you were going to be party poopers, and in a way you were.
We were, yeah. I was delighted with our first half performance. The passing and movement was good. Good understanding between the players. Really under any trouble. Created 1 or 2 opportunities and got in good areas where we should have done a little bit better the first half. But the lads were very confident in what they'd done after 45 minutes, and I felt we might go on and win the game. But to their credit, they came at us a little bit more. Obviously played a lot longer game than us, but we coped well. Our goalkeeper took the crosses that he had to take, and we hit the bar, but it wasn't to be, you know. We gave it our best shot tonight. But what we've got to do is sustain the periods that we can play our football, because we're a good team when we do that.
You said that first and foremost tonight you were looking for a good defensive display. You certainly got that.
We did. We had to dig in the second half. I mean, after the season they've had here, you expect a hard game and you expect them to come at you. And when that's happening, you've got to weather that. We broke on occasions quite well the second half, but we didn't keep the ball for long enough periods, and we didn't control the game like we did the first half. So I'm a bit disappointed with that, but you can't ask any more of the players than they've given.
What about the penalty appeal? Did you think you had a decent shout of a spot kick?
Well, I'm bound to say so, aren't I? It was a good header. It was a good set piece. Now lad got a good header, came off the crossbar, and our big number 5 were going to try and head it then. And it looked to me like one of their lads went up with an arm, but the referee didn't give it, and that's all that matters, isn't it?
It's the first time a lot of our viewers will have had to see the likes of Paul Morgan and John Finnegan. I think if the TV cameras come down more often, you might have 1 or 2 scouts sniffing as well. They're
good players. I mean, Paul just joined us through the summer from Preston. You know, obviously the season and the quality of player Preston's got, he didn't get much chance there. But we'll give him a chance. He's got good pace, quite confident on the ball, and he'll only get better. But Finnegan's an all-action type of player. I mean, I wouldn't like to send many teams out for Lincoln City without him playing.
And what about Rushden and Diamonds? Do you think they're going to have a good season?
I think they will have a good season. They're very well organised. They played more direct the second half than I expected them to. Trying to utilise the pace of Jackson, obviously. And it was probably an exciting game for the fans. It's just a shame there weren't any goals, particularly in our favour.
Well, your season's up and running. Well done, Alan.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
The Lincoln manager, Alan Buckley, and the work doesn't stop. It's not just the big boys who warm down after big games. The Lincoln boys back out on the grass of Nene Park, sorting themselves out and getting themselves nicely warmed down. Alan Buckley suggesting they didn't make the most of the periods of play that they had control of the game. Should they have gone on a little bit and grabbed it by the scruff of the neck, do you think, John? Did they not enforce their superiority?
I certainly think so. I mean, if you look at the half chances which they did have, I mean, at the very minimum, you've got to hit the target. I mean, I think, in particular, I mean, Kingsley Black, I mean, he had a couple of chances in the first half, and a player has experience, he'll be disappointed he didn't make a goalkeeper make a save.
Yeah, I guess Rushden were always looking for a means of getting back into the game, Gary. They were a bit sort of bits and bobs and didn't really have a thrust to their game.
In many ways, it's quite good in the second half because you're looking at the circumstances of the game. Their passing game wasn't going well, and they couldn't get it going in the second half. And obviously, Brian's told them to get closer, get tighter to Lincoln. And they have gone a little bit more direct, which is always good to be able to mix your game up because you can't always play a passing game. Lovely pitch out there. Come November, December, you're going to have to mix and match it a little bit. And they showed that they could do that.
Yeah, it's worth, from Rushden's point of view, having both the short ball and long ball game because you need flexibility in any division, but they won't want to be falling back immediately on pumping it forward and hoping for the best.
No, I think results will bring that along because confidence, if you're not doing too well in the league, you know, your touch goes and your passing goes. So the fact that they can mix it up, and they did it 45 minutes trying to pass, it didn't work. 45 minutes they went a little bit longer, which they can do both.
What about prospects for the season then for these two clubs? John Lincoln looked very nice tonight, very organised.
Yeah, good shape. I mean, 4-4-2. I mean, they've got 2 wide men. They're very, very technically gifted, but not great pace on the ball. That's why they can't get in behind him. In particular, the boy Gain. I mean, talented player. Yeah. But I mean, he's not got the pace to get in behind the fullbacks, and I think they just lack a wee bit of pace up front. But yeah, I'm sure they'll do better than they did last year. And if you look at me on the other hand, Rushden, I mean, he'll be delighted with 2 games, 2 clean sheets, 4 points.
Yeah.
You can't ask for more than that from his players.
No. Gary?
I think he would have liked a home victory in his first ever game in the league here, but it wasn't to be. And he'll be just saying to the lads, you know, keep our sheep, keep our organisation. Goalkeeper, how many saves has he made tonight? Hardly any at all. So that from defensive point of view, they've done well. They've conceded no goals in 2 games. They haven't scored today. 1 goal. Is that going to be enough? Okay,
let's hear from one of the Rushden strikers, then the boy that came on and shook things up in the second half. Dwayne Darby talking to Simon Hill.
Okay. Dwayne, what's the mood in the dressing room? One of disappointment a bit?
It is in a way, but if you look at it before the start, if you said we took 4 points out of 2 games, we'd be pretty pleased with that, really. But the way things went tonight, we're a bit disappointed, but you know, we're still unbeaten, so hopefully keep it going.
Your manager said you played a lot better in the second half. In the first half, did perhaps the tension of the occasion get to the players a bit, do you think?
I don't know really. I mean, you know, some of them are getting used to coming into league football, so you know it's a step. But you know, I think we battled hard. I didn't really create much, but then, as I say, second half was a different ball game.
Lincoln was certainly lifted by the occasion, weren't they?
Oh, most definitely. I'm hearing most people are when the cameras come along. It seems to raise people that little 10%.
Now you came on like a man on a mission, because of course you've got a battle on your hands now to get one of those 2 striking places.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I lost my place at the start of the season because of injury in pre-season, and now really I'm just determined to try and win my place back, and that's by going out there playing well, and hopefully things go right for me.
Well, as I said to your manager, things are going right for you. Top of the league. Well done.
Well, that's it. Cheers. Super.
Dwayne Darby talking to Simon. It looks a little bit like Eric Cantona with that haircut. Dwayne Darby, good name. Let's hear what the fans had to say after tonight's encounter.
It's incredibly exciting. We've worked hard for it. It's been a long time, but please, it's great.
I think it's going to be a season consolidation, and I think we're going to show a few people how good we really are.
I think we'll hold our own in this league, all right. Really brilliant. Really brilliant. I mean, for a team that's come up from the conference, I think they're playing some wonderful football. I mean, we ain't always going to have the rub of the green, but yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, good start. Reasonable start. 4 points from 2 games is all right. They'd have taken that last Saturday, wouldn't they?
They certainly will, and the fans are happy as well. So perhaps they've got to take a little bit more use to get into the 3rd division as well.
Yeah. John, Rushden, impressed? Last word?
They've done better when Derby come on, and that'll be the story of the season. You've got 3 sort of different strikers there, and it's very much horses for courses. I mean, there's 46 games, and you've got to use them all.
Yeah, OK. Thank you both. Thanks then to John Hendry and Gary Nelson. I'll see you sooner than I'd like, probably. Well, Rushden Diamonds didn't sparkle on their home league debut. Lincoln's gritty performance rather spoiling the party. But Rushden are playing with bigger boys now, and hey, they're still unbeaten at point to point. No need to put the boot in just yet. Bye-bye from us all here.